The present-day relationship between North and South Korea is as complex as their shared history. Early Korean kingdoms well predate Christ. Deep-rooted dynasties promoted extraordinary advancements in the arts and sciences. Once a highly valued tributary state, then governed under a period of harsh imperialist rule. In the aftermath of World War II, under the stewardship of the United Nations, the Korean peninsula was divided into two sovereign states at the 38th parallel. The Soviet Union supported North, and the South backed by the United States.
We know it is easier to compose resolutions than to compose differences.
On June 25, 1950, the border was breached and a 3-year war waged, claiming nearly 3 million casualties, saw the destruction of every major city, both in the North and South, and ultimately resulted in the creation of the Demilitarized Zone, a 160-mile-long and 2.5-mile-wide buffer barrier that is still today the most heavily guarded area in the world. So when most people hear of the DMZ, this is what they picture, but this is technically the JSA?
It is. We're within the DMZ, but it's only about an 800-meter square that sits right on the border. So half of it's in North Korea and half of it here in South Korea.
Lieutenant Commander Daniel McShane is a joint duty officer in the United Nations Command Military Armistice Commission, the agency that oversees the southern half of the DMZ in trust. So right now, there's an armistice, which is a ceasefire, but there's not a peace treaty?
That's correct.
So what's the difference?
Well, a peace treaty between governments would be ratified and make a permanent border. The border here is the military demarcation line, which is a de facto border, but it is agreed upon between the two Koreas.
What we're looking at right now, that cement...
The curb here in the middle between the buildings.
That is the end of South Korean territory and where North Korea begins, right?
That's it.
And the buildings behind us.
A lot of the negotiations happened here. This is one of the conference rooms that sits astride the military demarcation line, which is the border in this area.
I'm looking at the border between North and South Korea.
That's it. And so if you were to take just a few more steps, you would technically be inside the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
I'm in North Korea. I mean, this is one of those experiences that I didn't know I needed until I experienced it.
The buildings themselves were largely meant to be temporary. That's what the T stands for in front of the buildings. But here we are, 66 years later, still temporary.
We're in an active war zone, essentially?
Technically, yes.
Civilians are able to travel here to get this very same experience that I'm getting.
Very true, and I think that it will benefit future generations that come to know what's going on here now, 3.5 generations after the fighting of the Korean War.
Listen, not to make you nervous or anything, but I think we're being watched right now.
I think we are. Yeah.
Is that common? Is that normal?
It can be, depending on what activities are going on out here.
You can feel the tension here. How quiet, how calm. It seems like everyone's a little bit on edge.
We're in a heightened state of readiness here, but at the same time, the worst day under armistice conditions is still better than the best day under wartime conditions.
Wow, that's a hell of a way to kick off a rafting trip.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond the quiet intensity at the border, whitewater flowing from neighboring North Korea rages on the Hantan River in Churwon County. You hear that? You know what that sounds like? We're about to go off a waterfall. And an hour west, the city of Paju plays host to the 11th annual DMZ International Documentary Film Festival under the management of event executive director Hyung-Suk Hung.
비단 DMZ만을 소재로 하는 다큐멘터리에 국한하지 않고 평화, 소통, 생명이라고 하는 키워드를 가지고 이 컨셉에 맞는다면 얼마든지 환영하고요.
Mr. Singh, do you feel like there's any significance in the fact that the waters that we're rafting on now originated in North Korea?
자연스럽게 물이 흐르듯이 통일이 좀 빨리 됐었으면 좋겠네요.
Not only is that message, not only is your mission, I think, beautiful, but I think it's also universal.
분단의 상징인 DMZ라고 하는 과거의 어떤 상흔을 안고 있는 어떤 고통의 상징이기도 하지만 평화를 향하고 있다고 생각합니다. 그리고 그 역할을 해내야 된다는 어떤 다짐, 평화의 메시지를 전달하기 위한 어떤 영화제라고 이해하시면 될 것 같습니다.
Documentary director So Hyun Pak has the high distinction of premiering her latest film, Let's Peace, on the opening night of the 7-day festival. If your viewers could have one takeaway, what's the theme of Let's Peace, and what's the message that you would like them to walk away with?
영화를 보신 분들이 평화라는 것이 나와는 되게 멀리 있는 것이 아니라 일상에서 찾아보실 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다.
Yeah! Paddles up! And in your opinion, what role does cinema play in affecting that change?
한 편의 다큐멘터리가 세상을 곧바로 바꿀 수 있다고 믿지는 않지만 한 사람의 마음을 움직일 수 있다면 조금씩 세계는 바뀌어져 나갈 것이라고 생각하는 거죠.
I feel like there's a misconception.
이게 인격정가예요.
That up there? You hear about how dangerous this area is within a stone's throw from the DMZ. But I think the only danger that we faced today was having too good of a time. Not just what this festival has accomplished, but what you aim to accomplish in the future is very inspiring.
Thank you.
Peace, communication, life. What a journey.